Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast. We're diving deep today into a source document that is, well, I think it's absolutely critical for modern managers. It's the Team Productivity Playbook. And this thing, it offers a really detailed, actionable roadmap for professionals who are struggling with this impossible tension, it feels like. How do you maximize speed and output, but also maintain high quality and prevent your team from just completely burning out in the process?
That tension is the central challenge. I mean, especially in the hybrid era. Our mission today is to, cut through some of the aspirational management theory and really extract the strategic core of this material. We're looking for the mechanics, the practical, repeatable steps that let teams move from just reactively completing tasks to getting sustained high-quality results. The whole exercise really is about linking every single daily action to clear, measurable business outcomes.
And that is the core goal for you, the listener. We want you to walk away from this understanding that productivity today isn't just activity, it's aligned activity. Every task, whether it's closing a high-priority customer ticket or spending time documenting a process, it has to map directly to measurable goals. We're talking tangible improvements in customer experience, CX, and a much, much healthier employee experience, or EX. Getting that clarity and alignment, that's the strategic key. That's what unlocks true efficiency.
Okay, so let's unpack this shift in perspective. Historically, output was, it was just a volume game, right? How many units, how many calls?
Exactly, how many reports?
But the playbook stresses this really foundational change. The modern definition, it requires volume and accuracy and usefulness. Because if the high volume of work you're producing is, riddled with errors or just doesn't move the needle for the customer, it's just low-value noise. Right. And that synergy between the quantity and the utility, that's what really drives improvements in both CX and EX. And this whole transition is happening while most organizations are still trying to figure out the hybrid environment. What's fascinating here is this data point that 71% of employees report being more productive when they work from home.
71%, that's huge.
It is, and they cite these critical factors like having better personal space, control over their environment, and crucially, fewer impromptu distractions.
That statistic is kind of a harsh indictment of the traditional office, isn't it?
It really is.
If a majority of your workforce feels they have to leave the office to actually focus, it suggests the office itself is the biggest source of friction.
Precisely. The playbook argues that leaders have to stop focusing only on where people work and start focusing on optimizing the entire system, regardless of location. And because of all this complexity, leaders are now forced to measure success across a much broader spectrum. So while employee output is still the top metric, it's tracked at 64%, but engagement is right behind it at 46%. Then revenue at 44%, and retention at 39%.
So why is it so crucial to track those four together?
Because they tell a story. Output is what we call a lag measure. It's the result you want.
Okay.
But engagement, that's the leading indicator for sustainable output. If you push for high output without addressing engagement, you just get burnout, which then drives up your retention costs and eventually craters both your revenue and your long-term quality.
So you can't have one without the other.
You can't. Disengagement is incredibly costly, so you can't optimize for output gains if they aren't backed by engaged employees.
So, okay, before we can optimize anything, we need a reliable baseline, a starting point. What are these sort of non-negotiable metrics a manager needs to collect right away?
You have to combine your operational execution data with your external feedback signals. So your core execution metrics would be things like task completion rates, on-time delivery, quality scores, error rates.
That's the internal health of the process.
Right. But for service teams, you absolutely have to look at service indicators. So customer satisfaction, CSAT, first reply time, FRT, and critically, the customer effort score, or CES.
I see FRT and CSAT tracked everywhere. But why does the playbook specifically call out the customer effort score? What makes CES a superior measure?
CES measures friction. Simple as that. It asks the customer, how easy was it to get this issue resolved?
Right.
If the customer has to repeat themselves or wait on multiple transfers or navigate some confusing system, the effort score goes up and their loyalty goes way down.
Ah, I see.
So tracking CES forces managers to focus on streamlining their own internal complexity, not just measuring if the agent was friendly. Lowering customer effort directly lowers employee effort.
And that ties right into workforce analytics, doesn't it? Things like utilization rates, average handle time, idle time.
Absolutely. Those metrics show you exactly where the labor is flowing and where you have bottlenecks. But here is the crucial step that so many people miss. You have to pair those quantitative dashboards with regular, qualitative feedback from the team members themselves.
So talk to your people.
Talk to your people. Do it over a 2 to 4 week window. The data tells you where work stalls, but only your employees can tell you why the system is broken. That's how you find the root cause.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, because now we're moving from diagnosis into strategy. We all know companies have these, lofty priorities, but how do we translate those big picture goals into tangible daily actions that everyone feels accountable for?
It demands crystal clarity around goals, roles, and expectations. The playbook calls it execution clarity. So company goals have to cascade down into shared team goals and then into specific personal outcomes. Every single outcome needs a clear owner, a timeline, and a measure of success.
And you have to clarify decision rights.
Oh, immediately. When a team member knows who owns the final sign-off, work just moves forward. It prevents that classic bottleneck where a task gets stuck in an endless review cycle.
So it's not just knowing the goal, but knowing how to get there and who's responsible.
Exactly. And to keep that focus, the playbook strongly recommends the 4 disciplines of execution framework, 4DX. It's the practical bridge between the strategy and the daily action.
We've heard of 40X, but I think a lot of managers see it as theoretical overhead. Can you quickly clarify the difference between Discipline 1 and Discipline 2? That distinction seems vital.
It's the difference between results and behavior. Discipline 1 is focusing on wildly important goals,
Okay.
WIGs. A WIG is a lag measure. It's the outcome you want, like increasing customer retention by X%. Discipline 2 is tracking the lid measures. These are the predictive, controllable activities you can influence every day. For instance, calling 3 customers daily for proactive feedback.
So lag measures are history, lead measures are leverage.
That's the perfect way to put it. If you execute the lead measures, the WIG will follow.
That makes the work feel more active. Now, the third discipline is the live scoreboard, which makes sense for visibility. But with a hybrid team, isn't keeping a live scoreboard just more admin work?
It can be if your tools aren't centralized. The visibility is crucial, but the scoreboard doesn't need to be, a physical whiteboard. It just needs to be accessible and frequently updated in a shared project tool. And the 4th discipline, holding short accountability sessions, that's where you make sure the scoreboard is actually being addressed.
Yeah, these aren't status meetings.
No, absolutely not. They are 5 to 10-minute sessions where the team commits to the next lead actions and reviews blockers. That's it, all focused on moving the WIG forward.
So if goal clarity is king, then reducing friction and rework is definitely queen. It sounds like documenting standard operating procedures, SOPs, is just non-negotiable.
Foundational. Absolutely foundational for cutting down on handoffs and confusion. When SOPs are clear, you eliminate that constant low-level rework, the "how do I do this again?" question.
Right.
And the playbook is also clear that meeting time has to be protected. You shift from these long, rambling status updates to short, consistent check-ins focused only on 40X commitments and collaborating on blockers.
Okay, let's pivot to technology. The playbook strongly advocates for strategic automation. And the goal is brilliantly simple, right? Let AI handle the repetitive stuff.
Exactly. Let the AI handle the low judgment requests so people can focus on the complex customer-facing decisions. The judgment-driven work, this is where we see efficiency gains that don't sacrifice quality. In fact, automation can improve quality by getting rid of human error in those repetitive tasks.
So for a manager trying to figure out where to spend their automation budget, what gives the fastest return on investment?
In a service environment, definitely tasks that reduce after-call work. Automating summaries, suggesting responses that immediately cuts the administrative burden on your staff. It also lowers error rates by ensuring compliance, which speeds up the resolution. Tools integrated with platforms like Zendesk AI can categorize tickets and suggest solutions right away.
And beyond AI, the playbook talks about workforce management, or WM, and quality assurance, QA, tools. These sound like a kind of mission control.
They really are. WFM and QA tools let you forecast demand, build optimal schedules, and calibrate service quality at scale. They prevent employee overload, but also excessive idle time.
That's a huge operational benefit. We saw the Monese example, an 82% cut in scheduling time after implementing WFM with automation. What does that 82% time saving actually mean in strategic value?
It means the people who are spending days building schedules are now spending that time analyzing process performance, identifying bottlenecks, training staff.
So that time is reallocated to higher value work.
Exactly. The opposite of low-impact tasks.
Which brings us back to protecting deep work. How do centralized tools help us fight the tyranny of the endless ping and the unnecessary meeting?
It's all about visibility, a single source of truth. If all your project statuses and key measures are centralized, team members can just self-serve updates. If I can quickly check the project board, I don't have to message you, I don't have to schedule a meeting with you or interrupt your focus block. It just drastically cuts down on that productivity killing noise.
So what does this all mean for the physical or digital workspace? We noted earlier that if 71% of people are more productive at home, we have to tackle office friction head on.
Exactly. The office has to become a destination designed for specific types of work, not just a default. And we can even quantify the time lost. The playbook cites data showing that without meeting room booking software, 74% of people waste up to 10 minutes just finding a free room.
10 minutes.
And without desk booking tools, 62% waste the same amount of time. And that's not just lost time, it's lost mental momentum per person, per incident.
That time and frustration just negates the benefit of even coming in. So what should workplace design prioritize for a hybrid team?
It has to balance collaboration with concentration. First, noise management is paramount. You need designated quiet focus zones for deep work. Second, you need easily accessible collaboration spaces right nearby for that quick ad hoc group work.
And what about the hybrid experience itself?
Proximity and equity are key. Sit people near their main collaborators when they're in, and, most importantly, furnish rooms with high-quality monitors and mics so remote participants have a truly equitable experience. They can't feel like ghosts in the meeting.
That transition from the physical space to the people running the show is vital. The playbook really emphasizes that how leaders act, more than what they say, sets the true rhythm for work.
The culture flows from the top, and the foundation is trust. It's built on two things: character and competence. Character is your intent, your integrity. Competence is your skill, keeping your commitments. When leaders model both, teams make faster, better decisions because they trust the system and the people in charge.
And what about feedback? We're all told we need to give more frequent feedback, but for a busy manager, shifting from an annual review to weekly feedback can feel like a huge time sink. How do you make that sustainable?
The frequency absolutely matters. Gallup found weekly feedback dramatically boosts engagement, but it has to be short, structured, and actionable. The goal isn't long coaching sessions, it's high-impact feedback. Focus on delivering one clear area for improvement and recognizing one specific strength each time. That keeps it constructive and balanced.
That sounds scalable. Okay, finally we have to address the perpetual struggle, right? Helping people choose the important over the merely urgent.
This is a coaching challenge. Leaders have to actively teach their teams to apply prioritization frameworks like the time matrix or the 5 choices methodology. This helps people distinguish between urgent tasks, which demand attention right now, and important tasks, which actually move the wig forward. If you don't actively protect planning time and coach people to limit context switching, they'll just spend their day reacting to the latest email no matter how great your tools are.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive into the strategic mechanics of team efficiency. The path to sustainable productivity is, well, it's really clear. It's pairing rigorous measurement focused on both CX and EX with disciplined execution using frameworks like 40X. And then you add strategic automation, leveraging AI and WFM tools to free up that judgment-driven capacity.
And the most encouraging takeaway here is that this isn't some one-time initiative. It's a measurable and repeatable process. Focus on consistency. Don't try to overhaul everything overnight. Just end each day with a short review. Check the scoreboard, review your commitments, and make sure that small, deliberate wins are compounding into real progress toward your WIGs.
I think focusing on that compounding effect makes this whole thing feel achievable. For you, the listener, here's a final provocative thought to consider and apply immediately. Ask yourself how effectively your current system truly protects genuine, deep work time. Are you and your team relying on vague intentions? Or are you actively using shared rules, enforced calendar blocks, and strict notification windows to limit context switching and prioritize what truly moves the needle? Assess that level of protection today.
That assessment is the crucial first step toward reclaiming your team's most valuable asset, their focused attention. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.